White balance. So in order to show white balance and what it really is, I have to do something to the camera for a second. On the camera, there is a setting that I'm going to turn off. It's called WB Auto, and you can see it right there, WB Auto. In order to change this, what you have to do is first check the eye, and then go down to WB Auto and turn it on something else. It doesn't matter what you choose. If we did maybe like pre, okay? Pre allows you to use a card, but you can choose any setting. It doesn't really matter with this workflow. What happens? Well, let's take a picture of this model. This head model has this LED light draped onto it, so you can see that there is this light right here, and it's got LED light, blue, being cast onto her. This is a significant change in light, there's no doubt about it. But there's a card on her, and the card I made in Photoshop. Do not ever buy a gray card, okay? It's a waste of money. You can make these in Photoshop. I'll show you how in a second. And what this is useful for is the fact that we need to zero out white. So white balance. I'm going to go over to Lightroom. And I need to take, one more thing off the camera. To really show this, I can't have any flashes, okay? If you have a flash, it's going to make it so the flash will dissipate the light and ruin it. So we really want to take a look at this blue light and how to take it out of the scene. Well, to do so, we're going to just crank this so the light meter is on 0. And then we're going to just turn off the flash. All right, so that means it's going to take a while to actually take this shot, but that's okay. You're really going to see the effect here, and that's what matters. All right, line up the composition so it has the blue light. And there we go. We have this blue light. There's no doubt about it. This should not be here. If it does, it looks kind of scene-like. You know, there's no doubt about it. This is a nice effect. Using LED lighting is amazing in photography. I'm sorry, but it is. Let's say I didn't want it though. Well, I could take it out using white balance in this gray card. I could go over to Develop in Lightroom and click the eyedropper tool and choose this gray. And you can instantly see over on the left-hand side the results of which. So you can actually mouse around, not clicking anywhere, and you can see over on the left that this is changing. Well, what I want to do is use gray, and you can see, because I use gray, wow, everything else just automatically fixed itself. There's some blue lighting still left over, residual effects of it, but it's nice and soft. There's no doubt about it. It looks more natural now. Well, I could continue to use this setting. So under here, I have white balance, use photo. Under develop, I can choose same as previous. Okay, so now the white balance is set. If I want to take another shot, let's say I move the composition just a little bit so you can see the change. So this one will be angled where it's cutting her off a little bit. It automatically white balances it every time now. That's the power of Lightroom 3. Very cool feature. So that's how you repair light. How did I make the card? Well, let's go into Photoshop real quick, and I'll show you how to make your own card that you can use. So what you do, you give this card to a model, you say, here, hold this for the first shot. You take a picture of it in any studio lighting, and then you white balance it, and then you choose the setting same as previous, and then from there on out, as long as you're not switching too much of your lighting color or warmth or type of lighting, You don't have to worry about it. In other words, if you switch over from incandescent to halogen or halogen to fluorescent, you have to really do another white balance. There's no doubt about it. So the type of lighting and the K value of the light really indicates what the white balance is going to be. And again, there's a lot to this. So we'll get into K value of light, the Kelvin of light, and how it kind of pans out with the different types of photos and what type of day that you take photos that look even better. Why is it in the morning it looks good and in the afternoon it looks good, but if you take it high noon, a photo outside, it looks like junk. So I'll get into that and why that is later. So I go to US Paper in Photoshop and I make a square on white paper. Then I go over to the fill tool, double click the color down here. So to do that, there we go. Double click this, and I'm going to choose a very specific value. Now, I know in hex or in computer that 255 value is the end of the rainbow. That's the most saturated color there is, and if I put 255 for every one of them, it's the darkest of blacks. But if I did this, 128, 128, and 128, this is neutral gray. So what you do is you fill this with neutral gray and you print it out. That's what you give the client. Now, results might vary depending upon what kind of printer you have, but not much. Nothing that you're really going to see as a significant change. So that's how you make a gray card. And that's how you white balance. So now that we know how to white balance, let's go on and use our flash and see what happens.